The following is a special presentation of iRacing on LSRTV, your home for sim racing.
Welcome to Daytona and LSRTV. Tonight, it's the B and C Lawn and Landscaping Truck Series here at the most famous super speedway we have to offer here for these trucks, but it's also going to be a fun bit of throwback. Here in the booth, I'm Austin Coop, Michael Guerrilla, and Cisco Scaramuzza in the production trailer. Michael, this is going to be a really fun race, and one of the biggest reasons is because this is going to be the '07 version of Daytona, the rough track that we used to know it as, and now in current day Daytona it's a real smooth track, but this track is very, very rough, and definitely want to introduce you to everything LSRTV and being in the booth for all the folks at home. This will be debut action for you here, Michael. So welcome along the team, and glad to have you along.
Yeah, thanks, Austin. Glad to be here, ready for an exciting season here at LSRTV. As you're saying about the track, oh, it's got so much character. I know going through the bumps and everything is just awful, trying to hold a line. So it's gonna be a lot of tight, close racing. We gotta see a lot of guys over each other, going through the corners, trying to hold each other's lines, try to keep up each other, and hopefully have a clean race coming up.
Yeah, that's definitely right. And we'll take a look at the point standings here. Jamie Walker looks to continue his lead with 21 points over Aaron Bennett, and then Bennett is in second, of course. Justin Michael finds himself third. Scott Simley is in fourth, with Bobby Terrell getting 4 spots. In last week's race, he got second place and was so close to getting it, but those points really matter. Bobby doing all he can do to have 6 top 10s this season. Rich Jetty still in the picture. He actually got another spot this past week as well. It's same with Michael Atkins Jr. and Scott Formosa, who is in 8th. And then Seth the Merchant did not race last week, so that is why he's down 4 positions from where he was. He's still in good position right now in points. And you've got Matt Mara, Christian Peterson. He is now in, and so he is now I think definitely somebody we were not expecting to be in this soon, but definitely expected him to make it stand for it. Then the last driver we've got is Tim Matthews in 12th. That's your 12 cars that are going to be in the chase if it were to end today. We've got a lot more races till then, but this race in particular is going to throw a big wrench into what could be that championship pack here later on in the season, Michael.
Yeah, especially with Daytona being a wild card race, we can always have a lot of points implications, especially with 6 more races to go after tonight. Daytona always throws up for a lot of excitement and entertainment and always drama with all the points and all the drivers.
And for the folks at home who don't watch every week but are coming in to tune in for Daytona this week, it is not a win-in-you're-in situation here with the BNC Lawn and Landscaping Truck Series. They go purely based on points. And so that's why it was so important that Peterson got the points to make it in and not just win. So he's got 5 wins already in his 8 starts, which is, as we've talked about, impressive as it has been for him. And so that's why he's now in the championship picture. I think now we talk less about Christian Peterson since he's in, and then we can start talking about Greg Mall and seeing if he can make his way. He got 1 win at Charlotte, probably one of the more impressive wins on his resume, going from 30-something position to the lead, and there were no cautions in that entire race. So still talking about that from when that happened, but we'll start to talk about a lot of other drivers now, including Seth Merchant, who has not shown up in a few weeks. He could be in jeopardy of losing that spot that he had earlier on in the season. And Tim Matthews, Chris Cabot, Robert Gillenwater, Joshua Banks, they're on the cut line. They're really close to that, and they're on the bubble to make it or not. So definitely be some really good points to talk about as we go forward. Michael, we have 80 laps of action. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, looking forward to it. All these bubble drivers are looking to make a big move during this race, try and get themselves situated for the last few races. So expect them to be moving towards the front and getting ready to go ahead and grid right here. We got 2 minutes left.
Yep, here is the starting grid for your Daytona 80 lap race. It is going to be Tim Matthews in the number 54. He will start from the pole with a 50.827. I think I've seen him on the pole in a super speedway race in this series before, so Tim Matthews definitely knows how to get it done. And then Justin Michael will start in the outside front row in second place. Then Tommy starts third, Tommy Ryan that is. Bobby Terrell comes off a really good finish last week. He'll start in the fourth position with Joshua Banks starting fifth with Wayne Dunn. He will start in the sixth position. Jeff Ryan starts seventh with Chris Chabot starting eighth. James Nunn ninth, and Randy Yoakum. He will start last driver in the top 10.
Starting 11th, we have Robert Gillenwater. 12th, we have Louis Robinette. Scott Forsoma, the number 80 cars, in 13th. Seth Merchant is going to be starting 14th. Red Hot Christian Peterson starting 15th after winning 3 straight races. Scott Simley starting 16th. Aaron Bennett starting 17th. Kyle Manger, number 25 truck, is going to be starting 18th. Greg Mall on the points bubble right now, making it to the cutoff, is starting 19th. And Justin Cleaver starting 20th.
Steve Price Jr. will start from the 21st position. You've got John Jenkins to his outside 22nd. Jamie Walker start all the way back in 23rd. Brian Guts outside of him. Rich Yeti starts 25th. 26th starts Michael Atkins Jr. Then George Hendricks 27th. Ralph Vander Vorsta, he'll start in the 28th position. Matt Morrow starts 29th, and then Shane Hawther starts 30th, and then Michael Way and Stephen Herring will start in 31st and 32nd to ride shotgun on the field. And we have to talk about this speedway. Daytona, as we know it, is not the same as what we're seeing tonight. Those this 2.5 mile oval is it's just definitely a little bit differently banked, and it's definitely got a lot more character, like you said. I like the way you put it. It's got more character, and we're going to see a lot of that tonight as these drivers are gridding tonight. And I do believe it looks like every driver is in the service, so I'm seeing some empty spots on the grid. And if anyone in the iRacing service knows what that means they're going to start from pit road.
Yeah, a lot of guys anticipating there's going to have the early caution. So they're going to sit on pit road for the start and hopefully get an early caution to get back in the lead pack. Got Kyle Manger sitting on pit road right now, and Richard Jett. I believe that's it for right now. Oh, I'm sorry,
yeah.
Richard Jett just pulled off.
Yeah, these guys will be able to come down to be in the inside of pit road and then pull off later, but there are going to be drivers that do not go out there, and they will have to wait quite a long time. Rich Jetty's doing that in particular, so he's going to start at the very end, and so I like that move because now he can be at the very end of the field, but not have to start half a lap behind him. With the draft in these trucks, if we go green flag the whole way, anyone starting from the pits, it's going to be a really bad time for them.
Yeah, more than likely they'll go down a lap within like the first 5 or 10 laps, because usually you lose about 5 or 6 seconds by yourself. So they'll be looking for that early caution, like I said.
As we are rounding turns 3 and 4 here at the 07 Daytona International Speedway, we want to thank you for coming along, joining us here the Saturday evening as we run into the 14th round of this season with United Sim Racing B&C Lawn and Landscaping Truck Series. iRacing official pace car is going to duck down and away, and the green flag is going to be out in the air. Tim Matthews gets a great jump, and we are off side-by-side racing here in the front of this field, already on the outside. We have contesting for the lead. As we know, the bottom line is the preferred line here, and it looks like it's going pretty quickly. We've got some cars on the bottom, some on the top, but the bottom is where you want to be.
Yeah, we got a 3-car breakaway down on the inside. The next up until the 75 of James Dunn, and then we got the outside lane coming up together. This is not really formed up yet, but the inside looks like it has more momentum on the bottom. And let's see if they're going to pull along on the outside lane right now.
This battle for the lead still on the outside. It looks like that has a lot more momentum than we were expecting here on this very first lap. Also on the bottom side, you get your tires a little bit more. So this is a great first lap for that outside. Seeing this already is a great thing because of the fact that means when the rubber starts to be laid down at the bottom, that top side is really going to surge. And I think that's what they were really hoping for in choosing the 07. I think this is a good decision. They chose the 07, or they chose the earlier set of Phoenix earlier in the season, and they're choosing this one. But here comes the 6, Tommy Ryan. He's going to go to the top side and hopefully get a push from the 87. And the bottom has lost some, I think that's going to be James Nunn, who falls out of the draft on the inside, but it's the lead we're looking at. In the 6, will be able to clear the 54, and he goes down to the bottom. So new leader from Tim Matthews to the number 6 of Tommy Ryan, and Ryan's trying to play Dale Earnhardt Jr. going from top to bottom, and he's got to be careful about that. It's only lap 2. You can't do that. You don't have resets in this series.
Yeah, Tommy was looking a little, looking for different lanes to go to. He's trying to block both lanes at the same time, kind of just was in no man's land, had to get down to the bottom. So it looks like the front row is kind of evened out right now. We got Tommy Ryan leading out front on the inside and Justin Michael on the outside. Looks like that inside's starting to break up just a little bit, and right where the 10 car is of Jeff Ryan, they're trying to get some momentum on the high side as we have the 36 of Joshua Banks pull off to the bottom. The outside lane looks like it's going to prevail going into 3. Let's see if 87 of Justin Michael can clear 6 going into 3, and he's not quite there. 6 just gets the run going back through 3 and 4. He'll look to go get the momentum off the corner on the high side.
Now, this track does have multiple lanes, but I'll tell you this much. If these guys go 3 wide, it's going to be very hairy for the better half of this race if they do that. And may not end so well, but at the current Daytona, that would be all right. But at this track, it's going to be something we don't see, if at all, or rarely, if at all, here tonight. And that bottom side prevailed in the tri-oval, and he goes up to the top to block, but here, oh, I said it too early. Here's the 3 wide we were talking about, the 54 to the bottom. Tommy Ryan started to go up the track to block, but this 87 said, I have more room up here than you do, and decided to keep going, and now he's in the sucker hole, and this is where you got to be careful. So he gets back in line on the top side, and not a good move by the 6, but he's still in the picture up here. And then the 54 of Tim Matthews, he goes to the top, and saw the number 36 of Joshua Banks get a little out of shape there off of turn number 4, so he's going to have to be careful. So the 54 leads another lap, and that'll be another lead change. I think we've had a lead change just about every lap so far here tonight.
Yeah, leads going back and forth every single lap. That's nice and for spots right here. 6 car put himself in a bad spot right there when he put himself in the middle, had no room, so he had to get back in line on the outside lane. Looks like we have the Tim Matthews machine and Justin Michael pulling away from out front with 2-car tandem. Chris Gibbio was trying to hold up on the inside. Oh, looks like Justin Michael's going on the outside. See, he's leaving Tim Matthews to drive on the inside. The outside's got the momentum right now, and Justin Michael looks for that lead. Is pushing Joshua Banks is pushing to the lead.
Yeah, that's Joshua Banks, the number 36 on the outside. He's had some great runs so far this season and has not been able to walk away with a win quite yet. He's had some couple top 5s. And here comes the 87 on the bottom. He goes quick there, and that's where he wants to be. He's on the top side all race long. Although Joshua Banks led the lap, so another lead change. The 87 wants that lead, and with this, this is a very clustered top group and a very active and moving group, and with them doing it this much, you've got to wonder how long are they going to be able to do this, and if they'll be able to continue to do this. And the A7 leaves the door open. Oh, there it is!
There you go.
Going to the wall. The 54 of Tim Matthews gets rolled on the outside, hits the 2 right there. Oh, and they're still piling in. More contact with more drivers. The 10 is up and over.
Oh, that's a huge wreck going into 3. A lot of carnage right there. Let's take a look and see what happened right there. I'm gonna bring up the replay. Looks as though the 36 got shoved off from the top lane and came down into Tim Matthews on the bottom lane, and that just created a right hook, which came back right up in front of the field and took out a good bit of the field. Actually, I think that's 10, 12 cars already torn up right there. And like you said, Jeff Ryan up and over going into 3.
big wreck, and I think some of these guys were really trying to avoid that and just could not get out of it. And it seemed like these guys just kept rolling in despite seeing the wreck. They thought they could get through it, and sadly when you see that kind of wreck, these guys really have to slow down faster. I think they could have really saved themselves there, but nonetheless, some trucks made it, some trucks didn't, and they're on the back straightaway pacing. We're going to be able to see who made it through just by the damage that they have or they don't have. So looking throughout the field right now, Justin Michael, I don't know how, but barely escaped getting any damage. Chris Cabot in second place right now, not so fortunate, has some good front end damage. Scott Formosa looks pretty clean. Tommy Ryan's got some damage on his truck. Justin Kleber, same, has some damage. And then I think Randy Yoakum actually managed to get away with no damage here. So we're going to see probably a lot of guys come down pit road here and get some fuel. And this is what the guys earlier who pitted, that was their strategy. Or guys coming off pit road earlier, that was their strategy, was to hope for caution. And with this kind of racing, definitely produces that kind of action. So the 5, Chris Cabot is going to come down and get some service. And he's probably going to get his truck fixed. And then all the rest of them coming down for service.
Yeah, that bet really paid off for DeMerchant and Manger and that group when they stayed off on pit road. Looks like everyone's coming down. No one really stayed out, I don't believe. And first off pit road, we have Justin Michael, and then Justin Kleber follows him behind. Some people are electing to take 4 tires, some taking fuel, some taking 2. Mixed strategies across the entire field right now coming off pit road.
And I'll tell you from Super Speedway Cup experience that you can take no tires at times. This is a different kind of beast when you come into this track, though. I'll say that right sides are helpful and left sides are helpful on their own accord. Taking only 2 lefts and 2 rights. Taking 2 lefts is actually probably the preferred method because you will not be spinning out as much. Now, we didn't see any of that quite yet, but I have a feeling at some point that we might have to talk about that if we get a long green flag run here. But relatively speaking, it's a little early to be gambling, I'd say, for 4 tires, actually. I think the track position's pretty darn important for these guys, so anyone coming down and getting 2 tires or no tires, I think that's a good deal, but also being stable in the pack is good, so kind of depends on what you feel is comfortable and how important that track position is for you personally, and if you got any friends back there in the field. Anyone Justin Michael was working with, well, they're gone. I did think all the guys behind him were gone and hitting that wreck, so he's got to find some new friends out there.
Yeah, he's gonna have to look for some new partners and maybe talk in team chat and find out somebody. But yeah, usually with the tires, when you go over like 8 laps as we've gone so far in this race, tires don't wear at all. But as you go over like a long run, like 30+ laps, you want at least change 2 at least. The right sides usually get a beaten, so that's where you should get the most of your tightness going through the middle of the corner. So you always want to take tires every now and then, just to make sure that you always keep a nice little hold on the car.
And as we pace here, we want to give a big shout out to our friends at Joel Real Timing for all the work they do for us behind the scenes. And coverage of the United Sim Racing B and C Lawn and Landscape and Truck Series is brought to you by Joel Real Timing, the official timing software of LSRTV. So whether you spend the time in iRacing behind the wheel, on the pit box, or from the spotter stand, JRT is the go-to software for iRacing timing and scoring analytics. You can get yourself a basic download or get the pro version today at joel-real-timing.com. It wasn't that long ago that he just updated his stuff, so definitely go and go check him out, joel-real-timing.com, for all of your needs and helping you out there in the sim just a little bit more, give you that more competitive edge here. And so now, as we have the wreck cleaned up, the virtual debris taken care of, and everyone cycled down pit road, we'll go through the top 10 as they stand, because it's going to look a lot different than it did. Only guy I can really say is where he was is Justin Michael. He's still leading. He started second, is in first. Justin Kleber, he went from 20th to second here on this caution cycle. That just shows you kind of the predicament we're in. A lot of drivers in that top 5, top 10 picture were in that wreck. And then you've got Robert Gillenwater. He's going to be starting 3rd in this restart, which now we have the pace car. I do believe its lights are now off. Randy Yoakum will be 4th. Scott Simley will start this restart in 5th, Lewis Robinette 6th, James Nunn 7th, Scott Formosa, he is the 8th position, Greg Mall is 9th, and Steve Price Jr., he starts in the 10th position. Like I said, this is a completely different story. Only 2 drivers that started in the top 10 are still there. That tells a lot right there.
Yeah, it tells a lot about how the race has turned out so far and all the strategy has been into play. Field's all bunched up, ready for this restart and going through turn 2. Decided to see if the people who are up front can get back to the front, or will the people that took strategy with 2 tires and only fuel only will be able to stay up front. And Justin Michael looks to be wanting to stay at the front as he's P1 right now, and well, I think he's got a good shot winning this race. He likes to stay up front right now.
Yeah, if he can stay out front and avoid all the calamity that happens behind him, he'll be in a good position. Also got to remember there's lots of guys kind of looming throughout this field. You got Peterson, DeMerchant, they're super speedway ringers. Greg Malls out there in the field. Jamie Walker, he just got some damage, but he might find his way up there. And anybody else in this field has a shot at winning that doesn't have, you know, a significant amount of damage. Even a small amount of damage, you can still win this race. We talk about how this is the wild card, and there's a good reason for it, and what just happened is the reason why. Good players just got taken out in that last wreck, and it was a big bunch of them. So we're about to go green, and we're going to find out which drivers will be at the top and rise to the occasion. So the iRacing official pace car will go back down, and here we are, green flag in the air. Great jump by Justin Michael. He'll clear the 08 very quickly, and he's going to get to single file pretty fast here. And actually looks like the 8 of Randy Yoakum wants to get back in the draft, so still 2x2 here at the first few positions, but Justin Michael got himself a clear room for now.
Yeah, it looks like the top 8 got really strung out on the restart, which is very unusual for a plate race on the restart. Looks like the inside's forming up. The 08 of Justin Cleaver left on the outside lane. Looks like he's going to get some help from the 8 car of Randy Yoakum, but the inside looks to be predominant right now. Justin Michaels leading that group with Robert Gillenwater on the inside behind him and Scott Simley right behind him.
Looks a little calmer than it did on the initial start of this race, but the 08 on the outside still trying to make things happen, and quite frankly, that bottom side is really strong. The 4 of Robert Gillenwater is just absolutely tucked under the 87 right here, but here comes that outside lane just a little bit. And we talked about how it might be faster it might be a little bit faster, but Justin Cleaver is not rolling over, and he's actually starting to make some headroom on this outside. The one thing you've got to watch out for if you're a driver in one of these trucks is to keep the truck as steady and as straight as possible. And that's the one thing that we're not seeing right now, and that they're not bumper to bumper quite yet. But they've got to be as straight as possible when they push, and that's the problem we saw earlier. And pushing in the corners is something that we don't want to see. But here comes the 08. He's got the nose in front of the 87, but he does not have the push from the 8. Randy Yoakum giving a great push on the outside. And I don't think the bottom's getting as great of a push as it needs. As you can see, the Ford is trailing off a little bit. And here comes the outside lane. The 08 will lead this lap, another lead change. And so he will actually clear him. So he's going to go right there in front. And I think the 87 might like that, because now he's going to be able to push and kind of be in control at least a little bit. So here he goes, and 08 still out in front.
Yes, Justin and Justin's show on the inside lane right now, pushing each other in the lead right now. The 8 car, Randy Yoakum, trying to bring up that outside lane. Looks like they have more momentum because they've lined up more because of the 3v2 on the outside. Looks like he's going to be pulled alongside for the entry of the corner, see if he can get up there and get him before the exit of 4. Not quite. The inside just got that momentum going through the corner. Inside always has that run on entry, but on exit, let's see if the 8 car gets the run off. Oh, looks like the 08's. Oh, he doesn't know. 08 doesn't know which line to be in, and looks like 08's going to keep the lead right here.
Yeah, I think the blocking is really something that's going to really start to jumble this up, and I know these guys want to do it because they don't want to lose the lead, but at some point you've got to think to yourself that you're going to get it back if as fast as it's changing. I think that's really important for these guys to know, is that there's only a few guys behind them that are really close to taking that away. They're not going to lose 15 spots like you would at Martinsville if you're high and dry on the outside, but I'd stay on the outside. I would never come down, because look at the speed that the outside has. Just 2 trucks can do this. The 8 of Randy Yoakum, the 78 of Steve Price Jr. We've seen them work similar ways here, and looks like it's kind of falling off a little bit now, but they have so much momentum off the corners. If they have one more truck, I'd say that they would really have a good chance at this lead right here. But the bottom and the 87, really good pushers. I don't think the 87's lifting at all, just because he's so close to Kleber, which is a dangerous thing because we do talk a lot about blown engines. In fact, we had one yesterday, just happened to be in front of my front bumper when I was in the Super Speedway Cup, and there goes the 8 and the 87 getting contact. Oh, here they go. Big wreck off of 4, or off of 2. Oh, the 87 is going to come right back up the track.
The 87, the 80, and the 4. Big carnage out of 4. Still wrecking, I think. I got the... Justin Michael got in that as well. He's off in the grass right now trying to get back on track. Big wreck coming off 4. Let's take a look and see what happened there on a replay.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what happened because the contact with the 8 and the 87 happened, and so they went up the track, and then the guys behind them, I think, were trying to react to it, and the 80 of Formosa just started going up the track, and the 78 kept going down, and they just made contact. I think they're just both trying to avoid the same thing, and it was on from there. The 4 of Gillenwater had nowhere to go. The 5 of Chris Cabot, I think he felt like he had nowhere to go, and starting to look at all these guys who got caught up in it. The 75 of James Nunn, I think, was able to somewhat glitch his way through the wreck, but the 98 of Stephen Herring was not so fortunate. And so another wreck, and that's really unfortunate for these guys to have 2 big ones so far. Any damage now is going to really slow you down. So as we start pacing on the backstretch now, they will get restacked and re-racked, and the top 5 looks a lot different once again. Nobody in the top 5 is in the top 5 anymore. In fact, nobody in the top 5 no one that started in the top 5 is even in the top 10 anymore. So it doesn't matter sometimes where you started at Daytona. So Justin Kleber, he will lead these guys to pit road if they choose to do so again, and a lot of carnage already. I think we kind of expected this, half expected this, but 2 big wrecks already.
Yeah, it's just a part of this track, in my opinion. Usually with this rough surface, it's hard to keep the cars in line, and that was just a simple case of the guy on the inside got loose and then it came up into the other guy. So it's just a matter of keeping the line straight. As we're heading down the pit road, Justin Kleber leads him down onto the lane. Looks like everyone's coming this time. I don't see any. Oh, Matt Morris stayed out, and we got pit stops.
These guys are going a lot better on pit road this time around, getting in their boxes and not sliding. We've been talking about the last time, and I always say that. The 75 goes through his box, so he's actually going to be able to get down. The 4 goes completely through it. I don't think he was even in his box when he stopped, but actually now I'm looking through it, and as soon as I was saying it, there was actually a lot of issues coming down pit road. So I think, did Kleber come down? I don't think he did.
No, I don't think he did.
Yeah, so he's going to be the leader, it looks like.
Oh, Matt Mara
behind Matt Mara, so I'm unsure if it was a splashing gas for Kleber. I'm unsure how the 11 got that position. So yeah, he came down. He just came for a splashing gas. That the 08 did. So then the rest of them, I think, took tires of some sort.
Yeah, looks like Kleber just snuck in for getting the splash and go. I think Steve Price, I think he's come out 3rd behind Kleber. Randy Yoakum behind him, and yeah, let's see, take a look. Steve Price, I believe he did take only left sides, I believe.
Well, as we start the pace, we will take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with all the action here at Daytona. You've been watching the B&Z Lawn Landscape Truck Series here with LSRTV on this Saturday night.
talking about in the chat.
Welcome back to Daytona as we pace on lap number 19 or number 18 of this race, and I do believe we are going to get an interview with one of the drivers who was just involved in that wreck, and that'd be the 87 of Justin Michael. Justin, you had a strong truck here in the early goings of this race, and it seems like it's not meant to be. Is the truck done, or are you still able to at least make some laps out there, and what happened from your point of view?
Nah, it's pretty much junk. I'm gonna see if I can just run around, maybe pick up a spot or two. I don't know if anybody ahead of us has dropped out or not, but we got about 5-6 minutes to repair, so there's no way up.
It feels like the intensity at the front of this pack is pretty high. Any particular reason you think that that's going on as these guys look like they're gonna be getting to the double file here?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just. People driving over their heads. People run out of talent. You can't pinch here. It's way too bumpy. You got to give a lot of people space, and I guess people just can't understand that. That first wreck, I don't even know why it happened. I know it happened right behind me, and I got caught up in it. I got hit a little bit because I think I had a few seconds of damage, and I'm just not sure what happened. And then I'm not sure why somebody's pinching me to the apron on lap 16 or whatever lap it was. Can't do that here, so it's kind of disappointing. But we'll move on to next week.
All right, there you have it. Best of luck in the future there, Justin, and we will see how this correlates to any of the other racing, because there's a lot of drivers out there that have not really raced in a way. They've been kind of just holding on to their cards because they know when to hold them and they know when to fold them, and right now is not the time to fold them because they're going to go and run. So as I am going to probably get smacked for that one. They are getting lined up, and there's not that many trucks out here when you look at how many are on the off list. Because you've got Chris Gabo coming back to the to the front here. Michael Way is off one lap. Justin Michael and a lot of other drivers are off here, and gonna get back to the front of the field here, and we're gonna see if we can get the picture back, but as long as we can hear it, I'll do this MRN style if we can. So I'm going to give you a radio version, everybody. So I don't know what's going on with the stream, but we'll give it to you as if it was on radio. So Justin Kleiber is on the inside, and the 78 of Steve Price Jr. follows on the outside. So they go side by side, and here they go. The number 08 of Justin Kleiber gets a great jump in the 88 of Jamie Walker, who was involved in an accident earlier. He is the pusher on the bottom. This is really interesting here to see the 88 in a wreck earlier already back up to the front and pushing.
Yeah, he's trying to work the bumper of Justin Kleiber right now. Let's see if they get away from this pack right now. It's a very thin pack right now. I think we're all single file all the way back to, I think it's the 12th position with James Nunn. But it's a very, very thin field now with all these early wrecks happening. We got a battle for third right here. Dwayne Dunn's looking to the outside of Scott Simley. We'll see if he can pick up that spot for third on the outside. He's got no help, so it looks like he might try to get back in line. And he's just hung at the drive to see if he can find back in line.
Should be able to get behind the 91 of John Jenkins, who finds himself to finally get some real estate here towards the front, and also seeing the 78. That's going to be Steve Price Jr. once again going to the outside of Scott Simley. Simley we haven't talked about at all, and he's a defending champion and has when you're not said much in a super speedway race, it's a really good thing. So he finds himself in the third position right now behind Jamie Walker and Justin Kleiber, and this front group has kind of spread out a lot. It's the top 7 that finds himself away from the next group, which is starting from the 8th place position. So Ralph van der Vorsta, the number 12 of Greg Mall, James Nunn, and Michael Atkins Jr. That's a 4-pack behind these guys, and they aren't working together quite yet, but I have a feeling they're going to get in line and start working there. And then you've got Randy Yoakum behind them, and Tommy Ryan, they're in tandem together, and then Steve Herring and Matt Mara. And it's just, there's a lot of small groups, and I think this is really going to bode well for a long green flag run here.
Yeah, you got a lot of wounded warrior lines with everyone in the back that's got all the damage, trying to keep up with each other, trying to work together and see if they can get back up to the front. But as you said, it's a 6-car breakaway at the front. I'll be interested to see if that second pack, if they can start working together, see if they can get up, if they can run the queue line and see if they can push each other back up to the front. But as you look up front right now, Justin Cleaver's out front right now, leading Jamie Walker and Scott Simley right now. It looks as though it's going to be a little bit of green flag run right here. No one's really near each other. No one's really trying to pass each other. All calm and quiet.
For now, that is. As we know, it's the calm before the storm at times, but I feel that this pack will start to form as the second group back here. They will eventually catch these guys up here. The draft is too strong, and they're too bumpy there in the corners. They lose so much speed. And, also seeing that Steve Price Jr. was trying to do something with Dwayne Dunn right there, and I think what the 78 was trying to accomplish, he's going up and down the track, trying to break the draft to the 39, so that the 39 wouldn't be with this upper pack. And what that would do for him is that would improve his standing and have him kind of have free reign of trying to go to the top or the bottom, and also would make it so that the second pack doesn't catch them and have a middle driver, which that 39 is going to be. So the 78 goes up the track, and I don't know if he got tied or not, but he's trying to get some momentum here. He really wants to push. The 78's trying that outside and wants to get to the front, but I don't think anyone's going to want to really work with him at this point, just because of how the race has gone so far with 2 cautions, taking a lot of big drivers.
Yeah, it looked like he wanted John Jenkins to come up with him, see if he can get that outside lane going, but they're all single file right now, and that second pack has caught up to them with James Nunn and Greg Mull. They have caught up to the lead pack with the help of Dwayne Dunn. Dwayne's looking to go with Steve Price up to the front. They're trying to get that outside lane going, but it's just them right now, so just gonna stay as form right now. Steve Price look on the outside of John Jenkins. Then it's all the way back to the second pack. They're all single file in the second pack, led by Randy Yoakum and Tommy Ryan. Look like they might have a chance of getting up there if they all work together as well.
But look at the number 12 of Greg Mull, the 75 of James Nunn. They just carved their way through the field, or not. They didn't even carve through anybody. They just kind of had so much speed right there. And one thing that they have that the guys behind them now don't, and that's the 78 and the 1639, is they don't have any damage in any sort of way. And at Daytona, as we know, the draft is important, but even the smallest amount of damage will slow you down. So this pack of about 10 cars now, it appears to be 8, and then we've got Ralph Van der Vorst by himself back there. But these guys right here, this pack, I think if they wanted to be racy, they could. And I think we're going to maybe see that with the 12. Him and his BNC Chevrolet, they're going to either work and get up there, or they're going to stay and just keep working, maybe make the line faster. One thing that's not helping them is the 78 and 39. They're continuing to kind of go up the track and go back down. We're also going to see lap cars here, so this is going to make this interesting right here. As lap cars go low, lead lap cars go high. So didn't see any communication on the radio end for these guys, but nonetheless, these guys out of the way and right there on the bottom, as they definitely can do that, and they just get by them nice and safely.
Yeah, it looks like with those lap cars staying on the inside, they got 3-car breakaway right now of the top 3, Scott Simley, Justin Clyber, and Jamie Walker. The 91 of John Jenkins has brought that second half back up to the lead pack, so now they're all back single file right now. Those lap cars did not keep up with the front pack as they were trying to hope so by staying on the inside. But back in front, we got another lap car. He got freight train on the outside as well.
Yeah, it's going to happen pretty easily with how fast these guys are and how slow the lap cars are because of the damage that they sustained earlier on in the race, and really unfortunate for those guys. But sometimes that's part of the super speedway deal, is that you stay out there to try and get as many points as you can, because of the fact that it could be a make or break later on in the season when you're trying to make the chase for the BNC Lawn Landscaping Truck Series Championship, and you're off by a few points and you didn't go out and try and stay out there waiting for other wrecks to happen, because they're only 1 lap down now. Chris Cabot is actually now the first guy a lap down, so if a caution comes out, he'd get his lap back, and then he'd be back up at least trying to make some laps happen and get some damage fixed and get back up there. So as this line continues to be just pretty slim, pretty straightforward, no passing for position quite yet. I think the 78 keeps James Price, Stephen Price is he's really trying to make it, trying to work on the top side. He's not getting enough momentum and not enough help, but I applaud him for trying as much as he is.
I think almost every lap going into every corner, he's always trying to look outside, poke around, see if he can get some runs. Because I know some of the cars up front, like Scott Simley and Jamie Walker, all have damage. And I don't know if he can get help from Dwayne Dunn to push to the front. But if they can get a run, they can go up to the front. Because we've seen it earlier with the 12 and the 75 how they came up when they were separated from the front pack, and now they're all single file up front. And now we have Jamie Walker on the outside. He's trying to go around Justin Kleber. He's getting some help from Scott Simley. Kleber's left on the bottom with John Jenkins, and looks like Jamie might clear him going into 2.
On the outside, here goes the 88. This is the longest we've been without a lead change in really any fight for the lead here at all. So the 68 of Scott Simley pushing the 88 on the outside, trying to get right by Justin Kleber, and they are long and gone. They can come down at any point, and they're going to bring James Dunn in the 75. Look at the 78. This is what he was looking for. He's on the outside, but that 2-car push just did so well. So they got a huge lead off of everybody else, and now you're starting to see that the outside's still good with the number 78, and I think the 78 got what he wanted, but now I think we still have some lap cars up here that they're going to have to navigate around. They're staying high. They're going to have to go 3 wide here. This is going to get a little dicey. They had to stall. They stalled out completely, and James Dunn, that really stinks for him, but he did the right thing by slowing down, and they could have gone 3 wide, I think, but I think they're just too... the 48 and the 93 of Rich Jetty and Michael White weren't organized enough to really know exactly what they were doing. So the rest of the guys, they'll keep going. James Dunn will probably lose this draft, which is a big shame for him, as much as he was just in 3rd place. So this kind of gets the pack spread out a little bit, and this will probably get us ready for a fuel run here. Remember, these guys have limited fuel cells in these things, so it won't be too long before we see them come down.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have a long revive run right here. And with the lap cars going on the outside, that really hurt James Dunn, as like you said, he was going to lose the draft. But it looks as though he might be able to keep up as the back 3 of the pack are strung out. And like you said, here we go again with Steve Price. He's always hunting for that outside lane, trying to get someone to go up with him. Maybe he can get some help from Justin Kleber. He's poking out again, trying to get alongside Justin Kleber, see if he can get some help. Justin Kleber's looking at the inside. Scott Simley looking real dicey on the yellow line. He decides to get back in line, tries to think better to that for right now. It's too early in the race to make a move like that.
Yeah, it's really fun to watch the 78. I know you can definitely tell he's not bored. He's trying something different. And the thing is he's always the one to start it. So I feel he's always kind of showing that he's going to go up there and he'll be able to push. So anyone in front of him will be like, well, Steve Price is going to the top all the time. I at least now have someone to push me if I go up there. So I think he's at a disadvantage going up there so often, because someone in front of him on the inside will jump up in front and then he'll have to push. But it does kind of advance his position, so it's kind of a double-edged sword for him to keep poking out. But I'd say he's not bored at all. He's having a bunch of fun, and it looks like the 08 on the outside. He's trying to get that position, but he does not have the push quite yet. And that small pack, they are 12 seconds in front of Christian Peterson and the next group. That's a long ways away between them. And so this is a long green flag run. If this continues to go, they could potentially lap them, but that second pack is just about as equal in size as this one. I have to check and see if they're faster or not this time by. I haven't checked for a couple laps, actually, so they're 12 seconds behind that last time, and we'll get a feed on it here in just a little bit. Let's take a look at it, actually. That pack held by Christian Peterson, number 23. They're just crossing the start-finish line now. And they are indeed faster by a large margin, just about a second faster. And that's Kyle Manger, Merchant, and Christian Peterson doing it all.
Yeah, that 3-car train is hauling the mail right now, trying to get back up to the front, but they're just so far back right now. It'll be interesting to see if that 3-car tango can all get to the front. It's 11-second gap, and that's a lot to make up. I know they're almost 9/10 quicker that last lap, but the front pack is kind of jostling around, so they have a shot if they can play their cards right. As we look back up front, looks like they're going 2x2 again. Justin Kleber is still on the outside lane. Looks like he got left out up there. And Scott Simley's pushing Jamie Walker away from him. I think 78 might actually get Kleber back there with him. So you see if they get that outside lane rolling in a minute.
Inside's where you want to be most of the time, but if you've got some help, outside's probably where you want to be. But no one's really wanting to support that especially if you're Jamie Walker, Scott Simley, Justin Kleiber, Greg Mall, or sorry, not Justin Kleiber, he's still on the outside, but the 91 of John Jenkins. And Jenkins is one we haven't talked about a lot this season. There's been a lot of glory going to a lot of drivers who have won races, won championships in the past, been longtime veterans, but John Jenkins, he's come to play right now. He's in 3rd place, 22nd to 4th. And he doesn't get the position right now, but he's looking to be 3rd if he can get around the 08, who's doing a good job on the outside, just still struggling to get anyone to get onto the back bumper of him. But a 91 still in a really good position, and of course got to talk about Greg Mall there in the 12 car, trying to make it after having many races down and didn't think he's actually even going to run a full schedule because of school, but he's here. He's trying to make it happen. It's going to be a tall task. It's not impossible because Christian Peterson has broken the top 12, but Greg Mall's got to do the same way, and he has not won nearly as many races as Peterson has to get all those points.
Yeah, Greg might be looking to steal a win here and try and get on that Christian Peterson streak, trying to get it to multiple wins getting going for him so he can get that points gap reduced. But he set himself up really good sitting in the 4th spot. And like you said, John set himself up as well. The 91s in 3rd place. All they have to do is just miss their X, and that's all they're doing right now. They're staying calm up front, just running the laps out, trying to make sure they get their car to the end and make up all the points they can get this week. But as you were saying, with the 3-car pack of Manger, Peterson, and DeMerchant, they look like they're still quicker than the front pack by considerable margins, still about 6 to 7 tenths a lap. And I believe even the last pack of Tommy Ryan leading that pack, I think they're catching up as well. So it'll be interesting to see if they can get up to Christian Peterson, Manger, and DeMerchant, see if they can bring a bigger pack up to the front.
The organization of this front pack needs to happen or they won't get it. And one thing you can't do is lose the lead like the 88 might do. And looks like the 68 and Scott Simley is going to go down to the very bottom, and something's going on because that top side is not going very fast as 88 goes there to try and get the 08. So Scott Simley will lead for the first time tonight, and there's a lap car in front of them. They're either going to have to go, yep, they're going to have to go up to the top and going to have to go around the number 4 to try to get out of the way. And this creates just a little bit of a problem for these guys, but they do a good job getting around it. But this is going to make them slower, like we just talked about, by a considerable amount. So Peterson and company, they're going to be hauling them in, like you said earlier, and still side by side for the lead. But I feel like this lead, battle for the lead, is it's really going to hurt them a lot more than it's going to help them because of the fact that those guys in the back will get up to them. Now they'll have to take their time to try and get up there and pass them, but that's another story as well. So the 88 will continue to lead, so not technically a lead change at the line. There goes the 60 or the 08 of Justin Kleiber to go down to the bottom and try and take the lead from him. And so this is where you start to see the diciness of what this could possibly be. There goes the 68 to the bottom, and now I feel like the 78's got some engine damage because he has had multiple people in front of him that he's been able to push, and he has not been able to push them like the other drivers have. So here comes another driver to the top. That's Simley.
Yeah, Simley's looking the outside of Kleiber with the help from Jamie Walker. It looks like he might actually clear him before the exit of 4 because Kleiber has no help from John Jenkins. It's getting close off of 4. See if what Simley does if he clears them. He is clear, so let's see if either him or Jamie will pull down. It looks like Simley's kind of deciding where he wants to go as he leads that lap on lap 39, almost halfway in the race right now. And like you said, I agree with you on Steve on the 78. Every time he gets up onto somebody, he either just wants to ride there or he just can't get to the front on his own. So he needs to have somebody in front of him. And even when he does that, it gets too hot, like you were saying.
He's got some left front damage I'm seeing on his truck. So definitely is going to be the problem on that machine. So kind of looking at it, and he always seems to find his way back to the 39 of Dwayne Dunn. Who I do think Dunn is kind of just sitting there idle and waiting maybe for a wreck or something to happen, and doesn't want to really push the issue. But these guys up front now kind of where they want to be, I think, and they will be able to kind of, if they stay single file, they will be able to hopefully communicate and come down together, because that's also something that's really big here at the Super Speedways is communication when they're going to come down pit road. I haven't seen any mics light up for communication because they have open communication to any driver and all drivers here. So no one said anything yet. No one's piped up. It's been a very quiet radio here, and here goes the 88 to the bottom. and he's going to think twice about it. Scott Simley's leaving that bottom open and the entrance of his corners, and I have a feeling that's what also got the 88 up the track earlier too. You kind of darn if you do, darn if you don't, because if you cut that corner a little bit, you're gonna let those rear tires start to squeal and get a little hot, and then you might get loose later on in the race. But here comes the outside picture, looking a little bit, but coming back down. So just over halfway here at Daytona, and waiting pit stops here soon.
Yeah, and Simley is still leaving that inside open just a little bit as Jamie keeps peeking to the bottom. And if he's not careful, he might go down there and try to pass them as they all go single file down the backstretch. Just going past halfway right now as Jamie's trying to get him out in front of Kleiber and try and pull away from the back half of the pack as they all just try to, I guess they're all just trying to stay on the lead lap.
As Scott Simley leads, we'll take a look at your iRacing Midway Race Break brought to you by iRacing, the leading online racing simulation. iRacing's been developed from the beginning as a centralized racing and competition service. iRacing organizes, hosts, and officiates races on virtual tracks all around the world. In the fast-paced world of esports, iRacing is a one-stop shop for online racing with officially sanctioned racing from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, World of Outlaws, and many more. Scott Simley, of course, leads. And then you've got Jamie Walker, who sits in second, right behind him, giving him good pushes. Justin Kleiber finds himself third. John Jenkins fourth. Greg Ball fifth. James Nunn is in sixth place. Steve Price Jr. is in seventh. Dwayne Dunn finds himself in eighth. Randy Yoakum's going to go back to the clutches of Tommy Ryan and Ralph Vander Vorst, and that'll put them in ninth and 10th.
Yeah, moving back to the rest of the pack, Michael Atkins in 11th, Stephen Herring in 12th, Matt Mara in 13th, and looks as though Peterson, DeMerchant, and Manger all pitted from their respective positions, and they're found back in 14th, 15th, and 16th. Scott Formosa in 18th, Rich Jett in 19th, and Robert Gillenwater in 20th.
21st is Michael Way. 22nd is going to be Chris Cabot. Lewis Robinette, 23rd. Justin Michael finds himself 24th. Bobby Terrell, 25th. Aaron Bennett, 26th. Joshua Banks, 27th. Jeff Ryan, 28th. Tim Matthew, 29th. 30th is Shane Hawther. And then the 31st position goes to Brian Cutts. I'm going to cut here just a moment to the racing action because of the fact that Christian Peterson and the drivers behind him, they are on the outside, and here comes pit stops. And that's important because of the fact that they were right there with them when they pit. And there's only 3 of them. So the big pack comes down to pit. Formosa got some damage somewhere. I'm not sure. Maybe that was already there.
91 of John Jenkins getting on the pit road. He almost ran over Justin Kleiber, and he locked him up to the point where he got turned and turned himself into the wall. Oh,
not good. So already 2 laps down, insult to injury, salt in the wounds, whatever you have you. So these drivers now pit road. They're going to have to get organized fairly quickly as we see a replay of what's going on there. That's not one of those unfortunate pit road incidents that always seems to happen. So sometimes we overlook how difficult pit road entry is. And so as these guys come out of pit road, Christian Peterson, Seth the Merchant, and looks like Manger, they are coming across the start-finish line going into turn 1 right now. And then your leaders are coming into turn number 2 on the apron. They will catch them right about the same time. It's going to be really fun to see where these guys pop out. They have made up so much time, and you're going to see it here as they come out of turn number 2. And all these guys are kind of by themselves individually. Peterson's going to catch Scott Simley. Simley is going to get passed here by a freight train of these guys. And these guys are going to start catching the guys up front. The 12 of Greg Ball and the 88 of Jamie Walker. They've got to work together now. This is going to be a completely different race than we have seen so far today.
Yeah, now you're saying communication was key on the pit stops, and apparently that just didn't happen for the rest of the field as the whole front pack has all been separated. You got Steve Price by himself. Scott Simley's actually back on pit road, I believe. I don't know if that's a speeding penalty or not, but he's back down on the pit lane. Everyone just kind of, that was the lead pack spread out. They all pit at different times, so it looks like they haven't timed that really well. And this could benefit Christian Peterson, Kyle Manger, and DeMerchant, as they're all still through in a line right now.
So it's Jamie Walker and Greg Mall who lead the front. Now it's not the lead right now because the 75 of James Nunn currently looks to be the leader, but he's going to come down pit road 30, or no, he's not coming down pit road. He's actually just getting passed for the lead by these guys. And so we come across the start-finish line. Another lead change goes to Jamie Walker, and then Greg Moll's behind him. So these are your true leaders. And here's where your pack for the lead starts to form again, because look at Christian Peterson and Manger and DeMerchant. They are much faster than these two in front of them. And here they go, 23 to the outside. Here come the entire gang on the outside. So Young Guns on the inside, P Money on the outside. And it is no contest for these guys. They don't get completely clear, but the first two guys do. Yes, they do. All three of them got by. An 88 and a 12 look like they're sitting ducks at that point, but they will now have the draft. They'll be able to possibly suck up. There goes the 57, having a little bit of an issue, but this looks a lot like tandem racing now.
Yeah, they're all on the line trying to push away from Jamie Walker. Looks like as though Jamie's holding on right now. Greg Moll's trying to push him to keep up there, and they're Seth the Merchant and Kyle Manger all trying to push CP away from them. But looks like as though the top 5 are all going to stay together right here, and it's a long way back to James Dunn by himself in 6th and Dwayne Dunn in 7th all by himself.
I was concerned that the 88 and the 12 wouldn't be able to get up there and help out, but they are actually kind of catching them, and I think that's a good thing for them. Bad thing for DeMerchant, Manger, and Peterson, but going into this race, if we told you just about anybody was going down pit road and they'd come out, you'd think, well, they're not going to have a shot to win, but these guys, doesn't matter what track you're at, they know how to get it done just about every single week, and they have got themselves they had themselves a plan and had to hope that the other guys didn't form one, and they definitely banked on that, and it worked out. They banked on the cautions happening earlier, and they've got some luck for sure on this race, but they've also figured out a plan to get to where they're at. They were 8 seconds behind before pit stops. Now they lead. So here comes the 88 trying to catch him, but something I'm really noticing is that they're leaving the bottom open and they're staying towards the top side. What's this doing is it's allowing them to have more momentum up top. You can't pass them on the bottom, and they're saving their tires a little bit more. So it's a great plan for them. They've got to do it for about 30 laps left, though.
Yeah, and also what that does is keep the momentum. As that's like the queue line. Usually what you do is you ride the middle line and just barely trek out to the middle lane on the straightaways and the stretches, so that way you keep it running to the corners. And that's just trying to keep the tires cool, like you said, and keep everything in check. And it's nice to see that even with the damage, Jamie is still able to keep up with the front 3 right here. As we got some lap traffic right here of Stephen Herring and Ralph Vandervorst, and they're going to get on the outside and get out of the way of the lead pack as the front 5 try to pull away. And also I see that we have the 8-car Randy Yoakum trying to snag onto the back of them. He's 1 lap down, so maybe he'll try and keep onto the back, and caution comes out. You never know. He gets that wave around, gets back on the lap, and maybe he has a shot to win it.
You know what's interesting is he's right in front of those guys he just passed. Those other guys, those guys were for position and for the lucky dog spot. So we'll have basically 2 races up here if Steve Herring and Ralph Vandervorst can get up there with Randy Yoakum. And if Randy Yoakum can tail the end of this small pack we have here and not let them do it, that'd be really good for him. But I'll tell you, we're going to have probably 30 laps of green flag racing to the end of this, just by the looks of it. I've seen this look before in a race, and I can tell you this much: there's not a lot of packs out there. The biggest one is, well, for your lead. So really something that's pretty interesting is that front group is probably being the most racy, but it's been the calmest we've seen it all day.
Yeah, like you said about the packs, I'm just looking around the track right now, and other than the lead pack, the biggest pack I see is about 3 or 4 cars. You look back at the 8th where Justin Kleiber is down the front stretch with Scott Simley and Bobby Terrell. They're trying to get something going there and see if they can move their way back up to the front, but just looking around the track, it's just all either single cars or tandems, and they're losing so much time to the front packers. Now, it's turned into a 7-car train right now with the 8-car Randy Yoakum just barely hanging on, like we said, and Ralph Vandervorst is also holding on as well. Looks as though Stephen Herring did actually lose the draft somehow during that interchange. So it's just a 7-car breakaway right now in the lead as we complete lap 50 right here. Lap
number 52 is what we're on. Christian Peterson continues to lead like you said, the seven truck train, and if they continue to go, they're going to lap just about everybody but themselves. And at a super speedway track, it's really hard to get your laps back, and this is the most organized we've seen anybody in this entire race, and they just happen to be the lead. So this train, it's still a rolling rock and roll train at this point, and the 23 of Christian Peterson continues to lead the way. And realistically, he's going to be in a position to try and get another win. But also looking at Kyle Major, haven't really talked about him a whole lot, and he is running his first race of the season. And I think definitely something they probably did was say, Peterson to Merchant said, hey, sign up for United Simby and Lawn Landscape and Truck Series and help us out here. And, well, he's doing just that. So 25 is doing a great job of helping them out. And of course, DeMerchant hasn't raced in a few weeks. He needs to make sure he continues to rack up points to not fall at the top 12. But look at the drivers behind him. You still got Jamie Walker, who I don't know how the heck he's in the position he's in. I thought he was wrecked and done for the day, but he's in 4th place. And then Greg Ball, somebody who's able to always go from the back to the front in any kind of race. He's kind of done that, gone from 19th to 5th. So that's about everybody in this top group has a story, and even James Nunn, he as well. He's kind of far back there and fighting Dwayne Dunn. So James Nunn and Dwayne Dunn, yeah, with 2 N's on the back of the names, they're gonna try and work together and try to get to this front pack, but there's only 2 of them.
Yeah, they're losing considerable time right now to leaders. So if they can catch a caution, they can probably get back in it. But otherwise, they might just be losing out right now a bunch of time. Back up front, it's still a 7-car pack up front. Like you were talking about with Peterson, asking Manger to come on. No, but you always need your friends around here at the super speedway tracks. You always need someone you know you can trust to push you around here. And even like in these leagues, you don't know all these people. You always have to look out for someone that's able to push you. And having your teammates is no better feeling in the world.
That's right. You've got Greg Mall and Jamie Walker, who are obviously together and working together, but you've got DeMerchant, Manger, and Peterson that are working together. So yeah, a bit of teammates, but we've also got a lot to wait on with these guys in particular. It's kind of a waiting game at that point. So we're going to take a moment and do a quick commercial break while these guys are doing that little dance here around the speedway under green flag conditions. We'll be right back here on LSRTV.
Red Bull GRCs are now available on iRacing. I personally put my blood, sweat, and tears into this thing, developing the cars, the tracks, the dirt, making sure it is authentic as possible, and I really think you guys are going to love it. The best part is that this 600 horsepower Volkswagen Beetle is free to all members. So get signed up now and come race me online.
Back live here at the Daytona International Speedway as the United Sim Racing BNC London Landscaping Truck Series continues on here. Cisco Carolina having to hop in on a little bit of a homebound emergency, had to run out of the broadcast booth, so I'll be bringing the rest of the race with you alongside Michael Guerrilla. And right now, a little bit of shuffling up, going up with your leaders right now. You can see the three teammates up there, like of Seth, Kyle, and Christian, all kind of swapping spots right now. I'm kind of curious because we've been running in this single file line for a little while now. Maybe heat's starting to come into factor here for these trucks.
Yeah, it looks like as though each one's just trying to pull out, get each other some heat. As you can see right here, Christian's getting a push on the outside from Jamie, just trying to get that clean air on the nose. These temps always shoot up, even if you're not even on their bumper. You can be like 3 feet away and still get really hot underneath somebody. So it's always nice to get a little bit of fresh air on the nose at the front end as Peterson pulls down. He might actually get passed right here by Jamie. Yes, he's getting some help from Greg Ball on the outside, and looks like as though Jamie's going to clear him going into 3.
Yeah, the two drivers out of the Young Gun Motorsports camp going to try and clear him. No, they're not going to be able to, and coming firing right back on the inside is going to be the 23, Christian Peterson and Seth the Merchant, those two very well-known teammates. And well, that was the question I was just going to pose. We just got the answer right now. Trucks heading to pit road. This should get us good to the end. Christian, a little bit of the grass there. I think he managed to save it though, Mike.
Yeah, he barely kept it off going in the grass. And usually when you go out there, it gives you the black flag. So it's a very good thing for Christian that he saved that, as they're all coming down to all the teammates from top 3. As Jamie and Greg Mall always stayed out. They also have I think it's
looks like
Ralph Vanderhorst and Randy Yoakum. Yeah, they're still hanging on the back. It'd be interesting to see when Jamie and Greg decide to pit, as they might have one more stop to make on the way to the end.
Yeah, I think they stayed out a little bit longer, but I think these guys will probably want to pit as soon as possible because the 3-truck advantage that the teammates are going to have, Peterson, DeMerchant, and Mangers, they all come out right now. They're going to be, albeit faster in every single respect than 2 trucks, even, you know, despite how close they are together. We saw that group of 3 trucks able to catch the leader pack of, it was like 6, 7, 8 trucks. So we know those 3 are going to be fast. And if I'm Greg Mull and Jamie Walker, I think you may as well bite the bullet now, come down and get fuel. I don't know if it's worth staying out waiting for that caution.
Yeah, and also, you know, I'd like to see that the Jamie's damage might also be hindering him as he's leading the car. He's almost a parachute with his right rear spoiler up in the air. Be interested to see if they come down this time. Is it looking off turn 4? Looks as though they're going to stay out one more time. I think they're trying to run the Q line, trying to get their momentum up, as Christian and his group were doing earlier, trying to keep the momentum. Looks as though Christian and Kyle have gotten all together with Seth on the coming off turn 2. Let's see if they can go faster by themselves compared to Jamie right now, as he's passing lap trucks of Tommy Ryan and Steve Price.
And you mentioned that Q line, and that's something that we don't get to talk about a lot here on LSR because we usually don't show a lot of qualifying here from the Daytona International Speedway, but it's a little bit different of a line. You see Walker and Mull not quite at the bottom of the track. Now, normal logic would dictate that you just run the bottom line because that's going to be the shortest way around the track, but with the bumps here and with the way the banking is, you see Mull get right off them here. Yes, they are going to make that commitment to pit road. Also going to have, looks like Steve Price Jr. going to come down with them. So those 3 trucks all in. Price, meanwhile, keep in mind, lap down truck, the driver of the 78. But that Q line you mentioned, very different from the conventional line because you run a little bit higher going down the straightaways to get that arc going down into the corner.
Yeah, it usually keeps up a lot of momentum, and it's always great for great hot laps. As we see, I believe James Nunn and Dwayne Dunn have now taken the lead as they go off into turn 1. Christian Peterson and his group are coming off turn 4 right now. Let's see where Jamie and Greg are coming off pit road right now. Greg's a little bit behind. Oh no.
I don't think it's going to matter. They should just blast past him here.
Yeah, I think they should as well. I don't even see where Jamie is.
Yeah.
Jamie's just coming off pit road right now.
Yeah, so Jamie's in big time trouble. It looked like some sort of hold. The pit time looks like a 24, so for whatever reason, very slow stop for the 88, and that is not going to help those guys at all. Maybe possibly a hold down on pit road, but that doesn't look like it would fit the full 15 seconds, so some sort of issues. Maybe had trouble with the pit boxes. We've talked about it time and time again. These trucks with the automated pit crews, the box that you have to hit to get the sweet spot, a much smaller area than it used to be with the Lollipop Man. So these guys maybe having a little bit of trouble on pit road, but like you said, 2 trucks still out leading this field. James Dunn, the 75, the 39 of Dwayne Dunn, and this just feels to me like a Hail Mary here, because they've got to be just begging for a caution, because I don't think the way they're running right now, they're going to be able to compete directly with CP, Manger, and DeMerchant.
Yeah, they're not really pushing each other like they should be. Dwayne's kind of going all over the place and not really up on James's bumper. And I don't know if they have to make one more stop. Last time they came down, for James at least, was on lap 44. So I don't know if he can stretch that to the finish or not as they go around the 2 lap cars. So it'll be interesting to see if when they pit and where would they come out when they cycle around, as they probably will lose a lot of time staying out right now. So it'd be probably best to pit right now.
And if you're curious what happened to Greg Mull, well, after he lost his drafting partner in Jamie Walker, he's fallen back to a group around Stephen Herring, the 98, the number 2 truck as well back there. That's Michael Atkins Jr. And you also see Steve Price, who, remember, came down pit road with Mull and Walker, but Walker, by having that mistake on pit road, is going to fall back and going to actually fall into the clutches of Tommy Ryan. That'll actually be a battle for position between the driver of the 88 and the driver of the 6. You also see the 11 kind of tagged onto the back of that, Shane Hawther, Mr. Skins Motorsports himself back there. But 2 trucks continuing to stay out, none and done. It's a strategy, but you got to be almost praying in this truck at this point, Michael.
Yeah, I mean, they might be just looking for a caution right now, just trying to stay out as long as they can right here. I don't see any way they can make it to the end. And it just looks as though they're just going to lose too much time. I believe, let's see, last lap around, I think they gained, Christian gained almost a 1.5 seconds on James Dunn right now, leading the pack. So it's just a matter, I guess they're going to wait until they catch them maybe, or they're just going to run the tank dry and hope for a caution.
Well, Arik Metal in the YouTube chat pointed out that this kind of feels like a Daytona race out of the 80s, and it kind of has that vibe, because this is kind of going to be a 3-horse race at the end of this. A lot of the rest of your field fell out just down to pit strategy or whatever the case may be. They're still out there. You know, you got your Ralph van der Vorst in 8, your Randy Yoakum in 7th, Greg Mull still running 6th, but really, as the swap over happens right there, Dunn and James Dunn both on pit road, and yeah, no, the leaders have already gone by, so your leaders now, Christian Peterson, Kyle Manger, and Seth DeMerchant, the 3 6-man motorsports drivers, all in front and not going to probably mess with each other. They're just going to throw on the cruise control to end this thing, but I guess they could battle it out at the end. I mean, they're kind of all alone. The first truck that could threaten them is about 9 seconds back and losing time, so we could see the 3 teammates battle it out, but I think for the next 10 laps or so, things are going to be relatively calm at the front of your field. So, yeah, this kind of feels like a race from the 80s, because we have our players now and going to probably wait until the last and closing stages of this race to do anything with each other.
Yeah, and a testament to those 80 races, we already have up to 12th place a lap down on Scott Herring as he comes down the pit road. But yeah, as you're saying, it looks like these 3, Christian, Kyle, and Seth, all have this locked up. They may battle at the end just for fun, but it looks as though they are miles ahead of the field, as Greg Mull is still in a 3-car train with the 2 of Michael Atkins and Steve Price Jr. He still has a shot. He's 10 seconds back, but it's going to be really, really tough to be able to beat Seth and his group, as Greg is almost a second off the pace right now with that line. So it's just a matter of sit around and wait, see if a caution comes out. Maybe some lap traffic interferes, maybe, but looks as though we can just going to run it out to the end.
It's got it. That's going to be the only way this is going to happen. Greg Mull is going to need the 3 leaders to end up in some sort of calamity, or for the yellow flag to fly for him to have any shot at this race, or else it's going to be a 4th and an easy 4th place finish for him. Meanwhile, another 14 seconds behind him. That's the gap right now, the interval between those guys, and it's just Jamie Walker and Tommy Ryan. They're going to be battling it out possibly, or just trying to bring those trucks home. You got James Dunn out on his lonesome, kind of lost his drafting partner in Dwayne Dunn. Scott Simley coming down pit road right now, the Tundra heading back down again. That's his 3rd pit stop in not that many laps, so I'm not sure if that truck was fueled all the way, Michael. And that is going to be a huge hit for Simley here. Very, very off strategy.
Yeah, this will definitely hurt him in the point standings, as he's going to lose a lot of points taking this extra pit stop, as he might get passed by 3 or 4 trucks that are just behind him 1 lap down. It looks like Michael Atkins, Steve Price, and Ralph Vandervorst might actually get around him, as Michael Atkins actually just went by going off into turn 1. So Scott's going to lose a few positions, have to come down for that extra stop.
Yeah, that's not going to be good at all for him. And as for Steve Price, also able to get by Simley there. Also, Vandervorst going to pass him. You see the 68 coming back out on the apron, and it's just been gone from bad to worse tonight for Scott Simley, and championship caliber driver just has not had a whole lot of luck on his side here at Daytona. But 9 laps to go left at the line, and well, the question is, Michael, I know you have several teammates that you race with. How loyal are you going to be to them if you're sitting in this position? Because you could go out and win this thing. I mean, talk about Kyle Manger. Could go out and win his race in his first attempt here. Wanted to run last week. Got a little bit too caught up in the 24 hours of Daytona festivities to hop out in the truck. So he's making the start here. Do you stab your teammates in the back, or you all just ride?
I think that's really up to Christian, because I know he's been on a roll the past 3 weeks with the 3 straight wins. So maybe he wants to keep that streak alive, but maybe Kyle or Seth want to poke it at him, maybe get a run on him coming out forward. Maybe they can do side by side with a Mark Martin, Kevin Harvick guest finish from the 07 Daytona 500. So maybe they move him. I think I defer to Christian if I was Kyle or Seth, but it's all up to Christian.
Now, if it was, let's say, Bose and Blake up there, how about that? Would that make any difference for you?
I'd still defer to them depending on points, but if I'm by myself and it's only the race I'm run, maybe I go up there and pass them just for some fun, but I don't know. Maybe just staying in line would be best. I don't know.
Well, either way, we'll find out with those guys later on. We were kind of going through your field a little bit, and we'll kind of pick that up. Matt Mara, who has been all over the place today. He was kind of starting towards the rear of your field a little bit, and has worked his way back up to 12th. So an excellent job by Matt to be able to make up those positions. And behind him, we mentioned Jamie Walker, the issues that he had on pit road and kind of separated him from Greg Mull. So that's Matt Mara's story. Then you got Scott Simley. We already talked about him ad nauseum. Randy Yoakum is about a lap or so behind Scott Simley. You see Yoakum heading into turn 3 right now. If you flash up to the truck in front of him, which is Scott Simley, he just entered turn 3. So those guys looks like going to be very separated right now, as and Justin Kleber, meanwhile, looking for the 08. He's going to get passed here by Scott Simley, and Kleber no help whatsoever, and that truck actually looking a little bit sickly, only running about let's take a look, about 164 miles an hour. So something's going on with the 08, maybe saving fuel, doing something, I'm not sure. You got Stephen Herring, the 98, just kind of cruising around right now. And yeah, a bunch of these trucks just all on their lonesome, and I think it sticks to the it speaks to the team orders here for the 3 teammates. Been able to stick together all race long, and they've benefited because of it.
Yeah, back to what we were saying earlier with the communication. Communication's always keys, and with the 3 teammates leading up front, that's what got them there. They played their strategy right, and they're sitting themselves pretty right now as they got 5 laps to go coming at the line. But as you were saying, going back to Kleber, it looks as though he's just going to maybe save fuel. I don't know. The car looks fine. Oh, actually, I lied. He has some right front damage, so maybe there looks something incident happened.
30-mile-an-hour damage, it looks like to me. Something's off on the 08. I'm not sure what, but he should be going faster.
Yeah, he pitted, and then ever since he pitted, he got damage on the way to pit road, I believe, as I'm looking back in the footage. Oh yeah, he got turned coming out of pit road, actually, coming out 4 on lap 60. Yeah, he accidentally put himself in the wall with George Hendricks, and he got turned by Scott Simley down to the pit road.
Wow, we totally missed that one. Didn't hear the spotter call it out or anything, and it's a little too far back for us to get the replay for, but that would explain why the 08 is about 30 miles an hour or so, even off the single cars in your field. So that's huge issues for Kleber, and he's going to be kind of just stuck where he is right now. Unfortunately, he didn't come back down and get everything repaired like he wanted to. So, wow, that's massive issues for the 08.
Yeah, and if he's not careful and maybe won't have enough, I don't know if he have enough time, but Scott Herring might actually be able to pass him. He's a lap behind him, but he's almost 20 miles an hour faster than Kleber is right now, and I think he has a chance of passing him if CP and Kyle come around to lap him.
Yeah, no, it's definitely going to depend on when the leaders are going to come around and how fast they're going right now, but going to be 3 laps to go at the line and getting to that point of no return where if you're one of these other 2 teammates, you got to start thinking about the moves here soon, because we're already past the point of no return when it comes to the caution flags. If the caution flies now, race is over. We're done. We're packing it up. We're going home. So it's going to be the point where Manger, DeMerchant, if they're going to try something here and team up on the driver at the top of that points table, well, they're going to have to do it soon. But for Manger's first race, I mean, I'm not surprised by the performance. These 3 drivers have all spent a decent amount, if not a race-winning amount of time in the Super Speedway Cup Series, so we know they have plenty of plate track experience. Of course, CP coming off a rockin' week this week in the Myrtle Beach Simulation Series and some previous success in the C-Fix Series, so we know CP's done plenty of winning. We haven't seen Manger come to victory lane lately, at least here on LSRTV, and as for Seth, well, Seth's been just kind of all over the place trying to make wins happen, and well, there we go. Kyle decided, hey, you know what? 2 laps to go. Bye, Christian. I want this lead.
Yeah, Kyle's going to take it on the bottom. Looks as though Seth's going to look on the outside out, and he decides to push CP instead. Oh, and CP goes underneath Kyle. Looks like CP's going to get the run. Looks like
I think the teammates just went out the door right there.
Yeah, I think what Seth's trying to do is, they're trying to go 3 wide. They're trying to have a photo finish right here, see who can get it. They're trying to run side by side to the end.
Well, plenty of racing experience around those 3 because, well, they're teammates, so they know how to race each other. White flag going to be in the air this time. And the leader is, well, I'd say it's Christian, but I think Seth's going to have it off of turn number 4. So Christian led a bunch of laps. Seth only going to get his 3rd and cuts off the nose with a 23. But here we go, a little bit of a race. White flag in the air.
Yeah, Kyle's setting himself up right now. He's in the catbird seat trying to get a run as Seth, CP's going to look underneath Kyle. Sorry, not Kyle. He's going to look under Seth. And it looks like CP's going to go to the lead with Kyle pushing him. And Seth's going to move to the back.
Yeah, Seth could be in big trouble now. Manger down to the bottom. Does he try and make it happen? And Seth's going to try and get a piece of the pie here before they're done. They go into turn 3. No, Seth wants the outside. Let's see if he gets a run. No, he's going to get bogged down behind CP. And now Peterson going to drop behind Manger. This could have been what Kyle needed as they come off of turn number 4. Lap truck in the way is going to matter. Peterson down the bottom. There goes Kyle spinning. And it's going to be Peterson at the line. And Kyle just got done in by his teammate.
Yeah, the 2 teammates all wrecked across the line. Seth's still spinning down on turn 1, but CP got the good end of that and came out the winner as he barely got clipped by Seth coming across the line.
And I'm not sure what the team meeting is going to be like, but we'll be able to talk to all 3 drivers because despite the fact he crashed across the line, Kyle was able to come across the line in that 3rd position. But we go to the aerial view coming out of turn number 4, and it looked like the 25 got a little bit loosened up by the 23, tried to chop the nose off, and yeah, it was just loose and got straight in the wall there. So a little bit of help there from teammate, but not the teammate assist he was hoping for. Cal goes spinning behind, and as for Seth, I guess he didn't get enough of that dirt track racing yesterday because he was able to do it again here and hold on to that truck. And Seth unfortunately clobbers the inside wall after the checkered flag, so they don't have to worry about, maybe they didn't want to worry about post-race tech. Maybe that was the reason why. Yeah,
maybe they were so fast that they had to wreck it at the end so that way they can make it. This demon unusable.
Yeah, something like that. But either way, that was the finish. A fairly entertaining finish there from what seemed like a stranglehold of the top three, but we'll run you through your full finishing order here before we step aside, and we'll get all three teammates in here for the interview. But it's Christian Peterson who finishes on top here at Daytona. Seth the Merchant going to finish second. Third going to go to Kyle Manger. Fourth to Greg Mall. Fifth place finisher going to be Jamie Walker. Sixth to James Dunn. Seventh going to be Dwayne Dunn. Eighth going to go to Steve Price Jr. Ninth to Michael Atkins Jr. Scott Simley rounds out your top 10.
Yeah, Matt Maher finishing 11th. Ralph Vandervorst finishing in 12th. Tommy Ryan finishing 13th. Randy Yoakum, first car 2 laps down, finishing 14th. Stephen Herring in 15th. He actually did end up getting past Justin Cleaver, who finished 16th. Robert Gillenwater finished 17th. Rich Jett finished 18th. Scott Formosa 19th. And Bobby Terrell 20th.
21st going to go to John Jenkins. 22nd to Michael Waite. Shane Hawthor going to finish 23rd. 24th going to go to Aaron Bennett. 25th to Chris Gabot. Louis Robinette going to finish 26th. 27th to George Hendricks. Justin Michael going to finish 28th. We heard from him earlier. Jeff Ryan going to finish 29th. 30th to Joshua Banks. 31st to Tim Matthews. Brian Cutts rounds out your 32 truck field here from the Daytona International Speedway. But we're going to step aside. We're going to talk to the three teammates, and I think we'll also talk to Greg Mall as well. So stay with us here at the post-race show. Coming up next, the USR BNC Lawn and Landscaping Truck Series from Daytona.
Hi, I'm Ryan Priest. I'm driving the number 20 JGR Toyota Xfinity car this weekend. Really great opportunity here at New Hampshire at my home track. Over the past few weeks, I've been on iRacing, practicing a little bit here and there with the modified and the NASCAR Xfinity car. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been a great tool for me to kind of get used to that stock car body again and be prepared for the race today. Well, yeah, it's a mile long, so the draft kind of plays into effect here with the modifieds. Punches a big hole in the air, and we run restrictor plates. So it makes a big difference. Just really fast, and it's our Daytona. So that's what's great about it, and we have a fast car for tomorrow. I think the biggest thing is they're heavier cars. The tire's a lot different, and the way you go about setting them up is a lot different. They use all 4 tires more than a modified, where we typically drive off the right rear, you know, so. Well, actually, it's funny. I raced NASCAR race in 2003 before iRacing came about. And then when iRacing came about, my friend Kevin Iannarelli, who works at iRacing, kind of told me, hey man, you need to switch over to this. And when I did, I was like, oh my God, this is like real life. So I started using it as a tool of mine to really prepare for modified races, whether it was Stafford or Thompson or Loudon, Bristol. And then obviously the Xfinity Series last year, going to road courses, trying to get laps, and use it as a tool that can get me as prepared as I could be without actually doing it. So it's been great.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of LSRTV and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of Live Sim Racing LLC and iRacing.com Motorsport Simulations. LSRTV would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.
Welcome back to the Daytona International Speedway as we begin the LSRTV post-race show here for the USR BNC Lawn and Landscaping Truck Series from Daytona International Speedway. And well, we're just going to grab all 3 of them at this point because all of them finished in the top 3, all teammates. And I got to ask all y'all, first of all, what's the team meeting going to be like after this?
Beers.
Oh, yeah.
All right, because we kind of figured, and knowing you guys, I kind of figured that wasn't going to be, oh, let's all just ride in line going to the end of the race. I think I've seen you all well enough to know that wasn't going to happen. But Seth, I'll come to you first because you talked to me a little bit beforehand, and you said you guys were going to start on pit road and kind of start from the back. Talk us through that decision and kind of the beginning of the race.
Yeah, just knowing the way that this racetrack runs out with how bumpy it is, and not running it before with these guys, kind kind of going to it as an unknown, and we don't have a reset in this league like we do in iSuper Speedway, and it's usually chaos when we go there in that league. So I was just trying to take the safe route, and I knew that on this track you can run with 3 cars in a pack just as fast as the main pack, just because of the way the bumps slow down the cars, and as the third car can stay more in line, and it pushes the 2 in front just as fast. So we weren't really worried about speed or being as far back off the pack, and then we made up all of our time there in pit stops and dug away.
And Kyle, this was your first race in the series. I know you wanted to race last week. I talked to you a little bit beforehand and had some Daytona 24 stuff you had to get out of the way, but kind of coming to, you're sitting in the catbird seat and started to make your move on the last lap. What was kind of going through your mind there?
Yeah, it was a good first race for the league. Glad to get a 1-2-3 for the team. We had the luxury to all race it out there at the end, and found myself there leading, and had to make the first block on CP there. And when I went to go lower to block him, just didn't have the grip to get down in front of him in time, and unfortunately stuffed her on the wall. But we got the P3 still, so happy with that, and overall it was a good result.
And CP, the dominance we're starting to see out of you in this series has been kind of parallel to the same sort of thing we've been seeing in MBSS lately. But once you guys had just kind of the team strategy all up in order, and you come across with the victory here, and talk me through that. I mean, that's definitely got to help your mindset. You know, another dominant performance here at Daytona.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely wasn't expecting to come out and like dominate like we did. I thought, you know, we were going to be right in the pack towards the end of the race, and there's going to be some more guys up there. But I think I really was just kind of following Seth's commands. He had the strategy from the early laps, and we were just kind of following that and avoiding the wrecks, and we found ourselves getting in a really lucky spot there with one pit stop, and we ended up going a lap down, but we were right with the lead pack, and that sped us up so much when they pitted that next lap, and we just gained that lap. I think we gained like 4 seconds over that pit stop, and it was insane. But the dominance, I mean, I don't know what to say. We're just gonna keep going, you know. I mean, it was awesome to race with Kyle again. I haven't raced with him in a while, and Seth's back after a few weeks off, so it was really fun to race with these guys again. And yeah, I'm just stoked we got a 1-2-3 first time back.
Well, Christian, you came out on top here over your 2 teammates. I'll let you get the sponsor shout-outs in. Anybody you want to say hello to out there?
I think we got to thank P-Money Designs.
P-Money Train.
Yeah, P-Money Train, baby. But
well, not Kyle. Kyle didn't have one, I saw.
Well, he didn't have it on the hood. There.
All right, I guess I just missed him.
Yeah, they were there. He had the backer Bass Pro Shops, but it was on the back, I think so. But other than that, just everybody else who showed up. It was a fun race.
All right, well, that's the 3 teammates: Christian Peterson, Seth DeMerchant, and Kyle. Because I kept swapping it about 3 different times. Is it Manger, or something else?
It's Manger. Usually gets mixed up a lot, but Manger is the correct way to say it.
That's what I thought, so I'm going to go beat up Evan after this. Anyway, congratulations, you 3. Dominating performance, and we'll see you in 1 week's time.
Thanks, Cisco.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we're going to pass the mic down, and Michael and I are going to catch up with the driver who finishes 4th, and we're going to talk to Greg because he isn't in the 6-man group. And hey, Greg, you finished 4th out there, man, and unfortunately lost your drafting partner there towards the end, but another great performance for you.
Yeah, I mean, I thought there for a second that we were racing in Martinsville, because I think that pack pretty much looked like they had pretty much been through a war zone. But yeah, it was. I was certainly interested to see how the pack was going to be able to take on this old racing surface and see how they were going to manage that. But yeah, we were able to hang back, especially right there at the beginning, and avoid all the big wrecks, and was able to keep a hold of some pretty good track position there, middle part of the race, and then yeah, with Jamie getting caught speeding there on the last pit stop, that was definitely the nail in the coffin for having to try to attempt to at least go for a top 3 and possibly a win. But yeah, I mean, 4th, after all that transpired throughout the beginning part of the race, I will certainly take that.
Yeah, you ended up finishing fourth, put yourself in a good spot right there at the end. Talk about how like demanding this track is when it comes to pack racing. I know you survived all the wrecks. Just tell us how you put yourself in a good spot and try to get yourself that fourth place finish.
Yeah, I mean it was definitely an uphill battle. You know, we certainly wanted to try and find a line that really wasn't all that rough, and it seemed like the middle groove was probably the least worst of all three lanes. But yeah, I mean we wanted to try and keep it a single file train there for the most part, once we got things kind of ironed out for the most part. But yeah, it was, I think from that point on, once people started realizing, oh hey, by the way, all these wrecks are happening, that they could finally calm down and relax just to get some laps turned and just kind of get through all that and get to the finish. I think those first few wrecks definitely spooked them, I'd say.
Yeah, they took out a lot of good cars. Anyone you want to plug here? Anyone you want to thank for getting you this fourth place finish today?
Well, of course, you know, the truck definitely looking good after all 80 laps. Young Guns Motorsports, all the teammates, you know, we definitely tried and maneuver through all those wrecks, and unfortunately some of us got burned by some of those, so that's certainly unfortunate. But yeah, fourth place finish was definitely a good step in the right direction for the points, trying to get towards that cut line. Like I said, there was definitely a lot of good fast trucks that got taken out early, and we were just able to kind of maneuver through all that and have a pretty decent points race for a plate track. That's definitely nothing to complain about. But of course, got to thank you guys too up in the booth. You're doing a great job as always. So
that's Greg Maw, your Young Guns Motorsports fourth place finisher tonight at Daytona.
And that'll wrap us up for the evening here. And final thoughts before we wrap everything up completely here, Michael. Your first broadcast. And had a little bit of action there at the end. Had a little bit of everything going on. And how'd you like it?
I loved it. It's just interesting because usually when all these broadcasts are on, I'm usually in the car just trying to focus on what I'm doing. But up here, it's a whole different animal. There's so much to keep up with, and it's just awesome trying to see all these battles at once. And it's really exciting.
And because I have to ask, I think I know what the answer is going to be, but could you have taken away really anything for the pro race on Tuesday from this?
I know what I need to do for the last few laps, and I have an idea of what I'm going to do if my teammates are in front of me coming to the finish line. I'll definitely try to get the front if I can.
All right, well, that's Michael Guerrilla, and now that he's a part of the LSRTV crew, we'll make sure to get his name right and not get any more angry emails. But anyway, plenty of still racing action, plenty more racing action, I should say, coming up here on LSRTV. Of course, Monday night, the RSR Icebreaker Winter Series continuing on as that season's starting to wrap up here fairly shortly. If you're interested in running the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series, signups are open. We're actually working on a little bit of deal with Kyle Barnes at the guys at the American Pool Supply Truck Series, which you'll also be able to catch here on LSRTV. So keep it locked to the LSRTV socials. You're, of course, going to head over to LSRTV Official over on Facebook, LSRTV on Twitter, and I think we're working on the Instagram. I think I have to get Evan off the monster truck route to get underway on that one. But you got that. You got Pro Series coming up on Tuesday. The finale coming right here from Daytona International Speedway. That'll be Tuesday night, Wednesday night. Of course, we have the night off. Myrtle Beach Series will be coming 1 week later than usual. Of course, we got the Upstate Racing League Thursday. Super Speedway Cup, you heard Seth talk about it. Friday night, right here on LSRTV, and then we're back again with our usual doubleheader night. But for everybody behind the scenes that makes it happen, for Laura Lawson, DJ Lyon, especially DJ, been doing a lot of work behind the scenes, so shout out to him. Of course, for the broadcast crew here tonight, for myself, Cisco Scaramuza, earlier for Austin Coop, had to step away, Michael Guerrilla, of course, everybody else behind the scenes. This has been the USR BNC Lawn and Landscaping Truck Series here from Daytona. We'll see you next week around the turn. Until then, good night.